There's the AMA. All right, we're live. Let's see here. We're live. We made it. We've got X Spaces going for the first time in a little while. We've been having a lot of issues with it, so we kind of ditched it for a couple weeks. But I know a lot of you guys listen on Spaces, so we wanted to get it back. So we'll give it a shot today and see how things go. If you guys do have any audio problems, whether you're on, because we're obviously streaming on X Spaces, we're on X Live, we're also on YouTube Live, and Facebook Live, I think, LinkedIn Live. So if you're listening in any of the places and you see any issues, please just let us know, and we will do our best to fix it. But hopefully everything works for this one, and we'll see. So yeah, just comment in the Threadcast if you have any issues. Speaking of which, I will edit the YouTube video into the Threadcast. I know someone was asking for that last time. I think it was Winanda. Let's see. We got Mitch back too. Mitch was gone last week.
Indeed.
He has returned.
Yes, with my makeshift. I don't know how this mic sounds.
Honestly, it sounds pretty good.
Well, that's good because it's some low budget, old school nonsense.
Sometimes it's all it takes.
There you go.
All right. Announcements are all out. We're good. I see Monk Masters received their TMVDA and staked it. I don't even know if Mitch knows about this.
No, first I saw of it was when I opened the Threadcast and I saw like your first post. So I was like, apparently there's a NVIDIA one now as well.
Yeah. So Leo Strategy is so today Tokenized NVIDIA went live. Technically, it went live yesterday, I guess, in pre-sale, like a private pre-sale is what they did. So this is a kind of an update to their model for launching these RWAs, but and I guess I could talk a little bit about it. They put out a blog post today. They put out a blog post yesterday announcing the private part of the pre-sale, and then they announced with the blog post today about the public pre-sale, which is now going as of when we went live at noon Eastern, or I guess we went live a little after noon Eastern in the Sooniverse. But it's live now, so you can go buy Tokenized NVIDIA on Hive Engine, and you can also buy it on LeoDex. I actually think the LeoDex part, I was talking to the dev team, and because obviously when a new token comes out, we have to actually manually list it on LeoDex. So Leo Strategy lists their tokens on Uniswap, and then LeoDex is connected to Uniswap. So that's how they get traded on LeoDex itself. And I know that everything else is in place, and then the Leo team is working on getting Tokenized NVIDIA actually like listed on the interface. Probably while we're live, it'll all go live. So if I get the notification that it's live, I'll tell you guys. Otherwise, just expect it anytime in the next couple minutes or hour or something like that. But yeah, Tokenized NVIDIA is the third real world asset launched by Leo Strategy. These RWAs are super interesting. So the first one was obviously Tokenized Tesla. When it came out, a lot of people were like, wow, I don't really understand how this works. And I'm happy to walk you guys through it if anyone wants to ask questions. And then Tokenized Gold came out, and they made some improvements to the way the pre-sale works. Because the goal here is, and I think a lot of people kind of wonder what the goal is. The goal for Leo Strategy is to launch real world assets that can be then traded in the open market. Because by launching these real world assets, they're essentially creating a Leo standard for RWAs. And Larry Fink from BlackRock, who's the main guy over there, came out with some information yesterday about his ideas about a tokenized future. So we know that big boys, and they fully intend to do what Wall Street always does, which is to try to take as much of the pie as they can. I think LeoStrategy offers an alternative where RWAs are built on a Leo standard, and that Leo standard ultimately leads to all the value accretion goes to the Leo token. So essentially, LeoStrategy comes out with an RWA like tokenized NVIDIA. They do a pre-sale of the RWA. They use the pre-sale raised capital in order to buy Leo off the market. Then they stake the Leo on the sLEO contract on LeoDex. And that staked Leo actually serves as the backing for the RWA, along with the other Leo that LeoStrategy accumulates every day, either from the other assets or from their profits from market making. So the raised capital plus other profits and previous buys is what's used as the collateral to back these RWAs. So that's why they call it a Leo standard. Um, and then they use that collateral to issue the RWA. And then over time, if there's demand for the RWA, they're able to slowly and very programmatically add shares to the market and expand the market cap. We've seen LeoStrategy be extremely prudent. They haven't released a single more LSTR surge, and I believe they haven't done any for tokenized Tesla or tokenized gold yet. So they've been very prudent about how they're going to scale the issuance, because you don't want to scale the issuance unless there's demand. So when there's demand, they're going to scale the issuance. So what I think we're in right now is like the very early stage of they're releasing these RWAs. They're obviously, the main buyers are going to be Leo people and Hive people and people from Base that have slowly started to creep in and join. And with tokenized gold, we actually saw a lot of new wallets get involved on the Base side of things, which was very interesting. So I do think these RWAs are starting to slowly catch fire and gain traction. And really the key here is to build a network of RWAs, because you can't just offer 1, 2, or even 3 RWAs and expect people to think of you as an RWA platform. So when it comes to real world assets, you need to be able to offer the different types of exposure that users want. So some people want Tesla, some people want gold, some people want NVIDIA, and then in the future there's I'm sure going to be many others with very different types of exposure. And you could even think of something like a tokenized S&P or something like that. So if LeoStrategy wants to build a successful real world asset network, it's going to need to keep expanding these assets. And I think one thing that they've realized is they need to expand them faster. So we need to see more RWAs. We need to see more widespread, coverage, really. And you could think of it as coverage. I think that would be the best way to look at it. Almost like a telephone company. If you launch a telephone company, really the key thing, the hard part is how do you get coverage that's widespread? Because if you don't have good coverage, then people aren't going to use it. People aren't going to use your network because it's not really much of a network. So LeoStrategy is in this very, very early stage of expansion. And I love the RWA model that they're doing. I think it's actually very genius if you really dig into the details. And they obviously have put out the documentation for tokenized gold and tokenized Tesla, and then the tokenized NVIDIA post today was the announcement post, and then I'm sure the docs will follow. That seems to be kind of the modus operandi of it. And then when all of this is live, I mean, you really just dig into the details and you realize all these RWAs work on the exact same framework. So the framework and the launchpad gets reused with each RWA. It's extremely, extremely fascinating to me. And I keep saying this, but if nothing else, whether or not you decide to buy any of the RWAs, and obviously I've kind of become the biggest holder of each one because I want to support it. Whether or not you buy any, at least just watch what's being built, because it is, if nothing else, just a fascinating kind of economic experiment that you can see happening in real time, where people talk about a Bitcoin standard, and LeoStrategy is operating on a Leo standard. So it is, if nothing else, just this fascinating thing that you can have a front row seat to seeing how well it works. Most tokens that are pegged to some sort of real asset, so for example USDT, use a mint burn policy, which means when you want one USDT, you deposit one USD, and then they mint one USDT. When you then go to withdraw from USDT to USD, they then burn the 1 USDT and then they give you the 1 USD back. LeoStrategy is building something that's different. They're building something where it's a peg policy instead of a mint policy. So the peg policy is essentially how these RWAs have yield. And I think that that's a fascinating benefit. It's kind of like this, like, okay, this is a mechanism that creates the peg dynamic, but it's also a mechanism that has a benefit to the users, which is the form of daily yield. So the daily yield, and everybody has questions about that, the daily yield comes because of the peg policy. So it's almost like this very organic and natural impact of building RWAs with a peg policy instead of a mint burn policy. So again, I've kind of spent a lot of time talking about these things, but I know that they kind of get deep into the weeds of finance. But overall, the goal with LeoStrategy is when they launch something like Tokenized NVIDIA, as they continue to build up their track record, as with anything, the trust level around the pegs should increase. So as each new RWA comes out, hopefully people start to realize, well, these RWAs are not only, pretty fascinating and paying daily yield, but they're actually working. They're actually holding their correlation to the underlying asset, whether that's Tesla Gold or NVIDIA. So as these things come out and they improve the models and they make them more widespread, I expect to see them actually get more and more successful with each subsequent launch. And I see a future, say 5 to 10 years from now, where there's hundreds of these RWAs, and each RWA is backed by Leo, and each RWA generates profits for LeoStrategy, and LeoStrategy uses the profits to buy more Leo every single day. So I'm very fascinated by these things, and obviously own a lot of them. Mitch, have you gotten into the RWAs at all? I haven't seen if you have.
Nah, I mean, I obviously looked at the Tesla one, and then I haven't even been around for I didn't even know there was two more. So what was it? I saw. I mean, because I remember a couple of weeks back, I saw an announcement about what was it? GLD? Was it a gold one that got done, or what's the other one? It's NVIDIA, Tesla.
Yeah, the first one was Tesla. The second one was GLD, and so gold. And then the third one today is NVIDIA.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't messed with them. I mean, I've become a bit of a maxi in my crypto investing because out of necessity almost. It's just too much to keep track of with crypto and then also my real estate stuff. So just like with regular cryptos, I've quasi become a Bitcoin maxi. In the Leo universe, I've pretty much become a Leo maxi. So I've taken a look at everything. I mean, I own a little bit of Surge. I had grabbed that just for the experience. But yeah, all this, I look at it as more an interesting mechanics to produce more revenue, to lead to more purchases of Leo.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, whether or not you get involved with the RWAs or anything related to LeoStrategy, it's all beneficial to Leo, right? So if you own Leo, you know that LeoStrategy succeeding is leading to more Leo getting bought off the market and permanently staked because they buy Leo and they never sell it. So it's ultimately a good thing for Leo. And then it also leads to a lot of benefits for LeoDex because with LeoDex, we're now able to offer all these RWAs, and anyone that comes to LeoDex can say, hey, I want to buy and trade and earn yield on real world assets. And if they start to get familiar with LeoDex and start to get familiar with the Leo token and the Leo ecosystem, then they can actually buy these RWAs and stay in the ecosystem. And that's ultimately just a very good thing. So I think the expansion of these is good.
I mean, I think just having the product available, because I mean, there's opportunities where someone may want to get exposure to said stock, and as opposed to having to go through TradFi, you can just do it here especially if like they have crypto that they want to use in order to get that exposure, right? That avenue exists now because of that product. So just that scenario serves a client, so to speak.
Right. Absolutely. Looking at some questions. Mcoin said, I like how they did the founders private pre-sale so we didn't have to worry about swapping. I'm assuming you mean swapping to swap.hive. And yeah, I agree. It is a little frustrating and expensive to move capital into Hive Engine. So I think what they've done here is actually allow LSTR and surge holders to get kind of first dibs at the pre-sale and do so without because they let you send Hive or HBD. So you could basically do it without having to wrap into Hive Engine, which I think was a smart move because there are plenty of people who want to buy more of these things, but they don't want to move capital into Hive Engine for a number of reasons, including, like I said, it's expensive. So yeah, I think it's definitely a good thing, and I also like the way that they did it. I bought with some HBD, and then I've got some Hive that I plan to use as swap.hive on the pre-sale today. So once we're once we're off air, I'm going to do that. Otherwise, I'll be very distracted.
Nice.
I am. If anybody knows me, I am horrible at multitasking, which is funny because I'm sitting in front of three massive screens where I've got like 18 windows open, but I suck at multitasking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat, and I do it all the time. I mean, I'm guilty of doing it on this call. I'm guilty of doing it on pretty much every Zoom call I'm on. And yeah, generally, it just means you're ignoring the other thing.
Right. Yeah, it's tough in this world. You almost have to multitask if you want to get anything done. But at the same time, I mean, the skill of being able to focus is important.
Lost art.
Yeah, it is. David Pena said, one question: can everyone buy tokenized NVIDIA? Yeah. So just the private pre-sale part was LSTR and Surge holders only. So you had to hold LSTR or Surge and then send to LeoStrategy for the private pre-sale. And then for the public pre-sale from LeoStrategy, everybody can buy it. So it's now just live on LeoDex and Hive Engine. So you go to any Hive Engine interface or LeoDex and just search TNVDA, and you'll find tokenized NVIDIA, and then anyone can buy it. And then as soon as the pre-sale ends, it'll be live for open market trading. So anybody can obviously buy and sell it on the open market, both on LeoDex and on any Hive Engine interface. And then also they said in the post that yield will start paying out the day the pre-sale ends. So yield for all the RWAs pays at midnight EST. So basically, if the pre-sale were to sell out by tomorrow, then tomorrow night at midnight would be the first yield payout to TNVDA holders. And then if you buy in the pre-sale, basically the benefits are you get a 10% discount to the peg. So it's, obviously with these RWAs, LeoStrategy's built them in a way where they're 1/100th of the underlying asset. So what is NVIDIA at? NVIDIA's at $182 right now. So that means that tokenized NVIDIA is $1.82. So you basically, if you buy the pre-sale, you get a 10% discount on the $1.82. And then you also get, if you want to, you can stake the pre-sale when you buy it. And then you can lock in a 10% yield boost, and that lasts forever or until you unstake. So basically, if you buy it now, 10 years later, if you unstake, then you lose the 10% boost. But otherwise, in the meantime, you get it. So
the yield boost.
Yield boost.
I like it. It's catchy. It makes me think of the Hard Rock Bet app when you have your 20% boost on said bets.
Yeah,
yield.
It is
boost.
nice. I'm not much of a sports gambler, but I can only imagine.
Better off.
Yeah.
Better off gambling on crypto.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like everything in life is a gamble in some way, shape, or form. It's just about picking your poison and maybe what you're good at and what you get the best odds for. But at the end of the day, everything's kind of probabilistic, right? Like you're buying Bitcoin because you think it's probable that it's going to go higher in the future. But at the end of the day, that's just a gamble. So it's, you could call it an
Absolutely.
educated gamble, but it's no different.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't gamble nearly as much as I used to in terms of like what you think of when you say the word gambling. And it's probably because I became a crypto investor, and it probably scratches that itch
Right.
because I barely ever once in a long while I'll go now and do some gambling with the boys, but I don't
Yeah.
do any. I used to play all fantasy football and betting on games, and I don't do any of that stuff for years now. So, and crypto has been a thing. So
Yeah. The
there's enough
only
volatility.
there's plenty of volatility. There's plenty of volatility. The only real gambling I will do, like in terms of traditional gambling, is I like to play poker, but that's, in my opinion, a game that has a lot more skill. There's definitely luck to it too, but definitely more skill
Yeah,
than than things
yeah, and
like blackjack or craps
that's
or
yep,
roulette. Uh,
and that's what I used to play a lot of, and
yeah.
hadn't played it all this year until ironically Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. So, uh,
Was that with the
but
family or at a casino?
oh no, at a casino, but like
Oh, nice.
essentially with fam. Like I met up with a family friend,
Yeah.
and we grinded it out at the table for a while. But yeah,
Poker is a
I,
grind. That's a great word to describe it.
oh, 100%. Yeah, unless you're gonna play Psycho, um, you can, it's like anything else, right? You can play in a style that's like basically gambling on meme coins, or you can play in a style that's basically like just buying and holding Bitcoin, and it's two very different styles.
That's very true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
High
So,
speed
and
cash games or tournaments. I like tournaments. I'm a big fan of tournaments.
nice. Yeah, I used to play them a bunch. I don't play them anymore. I don't have the patience to be there all day long. But I will say that it is equivalent to, like I said, investing. It's like my mindset's the same with crypto. It's like now I just basically buy and hold Bitcoin, let my Leo stack. And that's really about it. Like I'm rarely ever mess with alts or buy an alt. I mean, I just still have the alts I've had from back in the day, but I'm not days of chasing meme coins to try and get lucky. Like I'm all set.
It's a it's the funny saying is it's a young man's game, but really it's like the new entrants game, right? Like they're all on top of this shit that even though we've been in the space for 10 years, like we haven't, even heard about half of these things. And that's how I felt about a lot of these meme coins, is like people started talking about them, even like friends that I have in real life started
Yeah.
talking about them, and they're like, how do you not know about this? I'm like, because while I've, yes, I am in crypto and have been for a very long time. To be on top of things like meme coins, you need to be like deep in the trenches of all this kind of like, I mean, I call it nonsense, but I guess to them it's not nonsense. But you need to be like deep in the weeds of all these like fringe platforms, and if you're not, you're gonna lose. So it's better to just better to. It's like playing like to tie it in. It's like playing poker at a table full of pros, and you're just walking on, having
Yeah.
been like a blackjack player your whole life, and
Yeah.
you're gonna go sit and play Texas Hold'em. Like you're not gonna be very good at it. And then you've got people that spend their whole life playing it. So you can't be that mad if you lose and they win, which I do see a lot of, and it is frustrating. Like you see some 16-year-old kid come in and start trading meme coins and make $1 million, and you're like, well, shit, I've been in crypto for 10 years, and I, where's my $1 million from a meme coin,
That is where it gets tempting. That
right?
is, and don't get me wrong. Like I've probably over the course of, the last few years, I've probably bought, like four Solana based meme coins, hoping to get lucky. And honestly, like I think one of them I was smart enough, and like when it tripled, I sold instead of trying to get that 100x gain. And it's a good thing I did, because all the other ones were complete busts, and that one ended up being a bust too. Like I just sold it luckily, but I'm net negative on all five of those plays. But it's like, yeah, you're chasing lotto tickets, and you see those news articles about, so and so turning $1,000 into, 1.3 million on said meme coin. You're like, how hard can this be? Like, I just got to gamble it up. But yeah, there's a lot more to it than that. You got to be all in on paying attention to the socials and the thing and the hype and getting in, right as it's going viral, if not before it goes viral. So it's a whole, like thing, it's like a task, almost like a job if you want to quote unquote get lucky.
Yeah. It's like the song. You got to be up all night to get lucky.
Yep. And like you said, but it kind of is a young man's game. Like, yeah, newbies because they got that newbie energy, but still, like, I don't, when I was, late 20s, early 30s, I'm day trading like a monster and like, all about it and nothing can keep me away from it. And now I think about that and that just sounds exhausting and I have zero interest. So to an extent, it is a young man's game when you're more just, a
little bit
energetic.
of naivete.
That too. Yeah. Yeah. That is part of it. Cause I mean, I walked away from day trading when I realized that, like, at the end of the day, only 2% of the people make real money, and I saw this from being in a trading office for many years. And it's like 2% of the people are making like big money.
Right.
And then you got the rest that are basically just earning a living. And then you got the rest that are just losing money. And, I was able to get to the point where I could, quote unquote, earn a living, not even a good one. And, finally I realized I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to be one of those 2%. And, I'm starting to get tired of all this. So that's when I, moved on. And that's the majority of people when it comes to active trading.
Yeah. That's kind of how everything is. I think it definitely, like with trading, it's more extreme, but like, if you really think about it, with most things, the money, the really the success, even if you take the money out of it, kind of flows to the top, right? Like the best of the best get 90%, and then the 10% is left to everybody else. And I definitely think crypto and trading in general is very much like that. It's very much like I actually was explaining this to someone a couple of weeks ago, but and we were talking about options, but trading in general is very much a PvP game, right? Like if you're making money, it's because somebody else lost that trade to you. Because people ask like, well, where does the money all come from? Well, it's not being created out of thin air. It's because if you bought Bitcoin at $1,000 and you sold it at $100,000 and you made $99,000 in profit, it's because someone else is paying you the $99,000 more. In order to buy it from you, and that profit that you're making is coming from their pocket, which is not to say that it then can't go to 200,000, and then now they make 100,000, but now they're making 100. Now you're not making 100,000 if you were the original buyer, and they're making the 100,000 from the next buyer, right? So, trading and that's investing. I mean, that was kind of more of an investing example. Trading is even a more high frequency version of that, where it is PvP. And I mean, especially with options, which was actually a really good explanation of it, which is, you're selling a premium, you're selling a contract to someone for a premium, you're collecting that premium. And if the contract expires worthless, that person paid you the premium and they lost and you won. If it expires in the money, then the person who bought the contract from you makes money and you lose money. So very much a good way to kind of get people's feet wet when it comes to investing.
Yeah, 100%. And there's always that argument about like, a zero sum game. But it's funny, you mentioned like the money doesn't just appear out of thin air. And then I was like laughing because I'm like, well, actually the US monetary system. So yeah, it kind of actually does come from thin air.
Yeah. Upstream, it comes out of thin air upstream, but downstream to us regular people, you got to fight for what you can get.
Exactly.
Fight over the scraps.
That's where the zero sum game is. So to put a bow on the gambling piece, I agree with Simple Game. He says craps is where it's at. And as far as gambling, when I want to gamble, like that's the game I play just because it's the closest to 50-50 in terms of a table game. So yeah, if I don't play poker, I'll do that, but that's usually because it's fun. Also, you're hanging out with your friends, you're throwing dice. Right.
Yeah.
So one day me and Simple Game will throw some dice. if and when I ever get back out to Vegas. I don't know. My Vegas days might be over, but we'll see.
I was about to say, didn't we? Well, Mitch and I were in Vegas together for a conference a few years ago.
Yeah,
We didn't really gamble together, but I did gamble with a few people from Hive, and I
nice.
think Simple Game was there, and we were Simple Game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we play craps for a little bit, or I know it's like a few of us where I just
That
can't
would
remember
make
who was there,
sense.
and
That would
I
make
can't
sense.
remember who was there mostly because of the alcohol because
Yeah,
we were
that's
drinking pretty
why.
heavily.
That's why I didn't end up gambling. I was too busy partying. That was the hardest I probably drank in a long time, and I regretted it. I had a serious hangover the next day. My buddy had free tickets to go see Flow Rider at the M casino out in Henderson, and I'm not even kidding you. I went. It was like outside, like this big pool area thing, and I actually went inside. And found a couch to lay down on. I could still hear the
Remember
concert,
this?
but like I couldn't see it. I was so hurt, and I'm like, I can't even do this. Like I can't even stand here at this concert. So that's what happens when you try and go drink for drink with Cal.
I do. Yeah, I definitely can put it away.
Well,
That's what I'm known for.
it also doesn't help that I'm like 20 years older than you, and you got probably like 30, 40 pounds on me. So
That's
I'm
fair.
surprised. I'm surprised I lasted as long as I did.
Yeah. I mean, it was a long. I think also it was just a long day. Like we did the
Oh
conference and
yeah.
then we were out.
Oh
It was a
yeah.
long day, and it's always
Yeah.
hard to drink a lot when it's a long day.
Yeah. We were out late. I mean, I remember pretty much going back to my hotel. It was like like break of day. Like I was like, there's daylight. This is not good.
Yeah, yeah. I was hanging out with a couple people, and I don't think I made it up to my room until like 10 a.m. or something like that.
Oh wow. Yeah. That even beat me. I think it was like 6 a.m. when I finally
Yeah,
went home. But anyway, fun times.
yeah.
I
Good
guess,
times.
I mean, I don't know. We'll have to all find an excuse to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of conference. I mean, that's kind of what the conferences are for, right? It's just an excuse to party with your friends,
Pretty
and then you say
much.
that you're working.
Right. So what else do we have? Blah, blah, blah. Morty said, "Have you heard about what do you think about the crypto asset reporting framework the U.S. is going to be part of starting 2028?" I have no idea what that even is, so I
I
don't know
haven't.
if you've heard
That's
of
the
it,
first time
Cal.
I've heard of that.
All right. Well, apparently it sounds like we're going to get some legal framework in 2028.
Yeah, that seems so far away. I mean, it's about to be 2026, but when you tell me something's coming in 2028, especially in crypto land, I'm like, I don't know. Who knows what 2028 will look like?
Yeah, for real. So, I mean, I'm just guessing here based on the name, but asset reporting framework just sounds like more rules and regulations for us to have to report our crypto transactions and
Right.
whatnot. So, I
Yeah.
think I'll worry about it when we're creeping up on 2028.
Yeah, it's kind of one of
That
those things where you worry about it when you actually have to do something.
that sounds like tax year 2028 problems that I can
Yeah,
talk to my CPA about in December of 2027 to strategize correctly.
yeah, absolutely.
Da- Dagger said Leo at 50 cents equals massive Vegas Leo Fest. I'm
Maybe.
down.
Yeah, I
Leo.
do want to throw a Leo Fest soon. I always say next year, but maybe 2026 is our year. I'll have to start planning it now. But I think I would do it in. I think I would do it in Miami, which is closer for Mitch. So
That's easy for me.
yeah, so I probably would do it in Miami. I feel like it's. I'm not a huge Vegas fan, to be honest. Like Vegas is cool, but it's cool to see
Yeah,
like once. But I don't know. Like it's not like I don't ever crave like, hey, I really feel like going to Vegas. Like I never think that.
that's
So
that's I'm finally at that point. For many years I did crave and for many years I went. But yeah, I like now the desire's gone. Like I would go just because I'm getting together with some friends or something. But yeah, not having to fly 5.5 hours to Vegas definitely is fine with me.
yeah, yeah.
But
Uh, let's
oh,
see.
apparently this crypto asset reporting thing starts in 2026 in the European Union. So
Oh,
I guess we can look at the EU as a
yeah.
guinea pig.
That is a microcosm for a lot of things in life, especially for Americans. Look at the EU as
Yeah.
the older ones doing it first.
Apparently, I need some freaking Hive so I can switch it. I can use it to buy Surge because according to Dagger, Surge is like a screaming buy.
Yeah, I was just reading that. Dagger
I
said,
don't
personally,
even.
I think Surge is a screaming buy right now as this ecosystem expands and Leo strategy starts gathering more and more revenue from market makers, offerings, etc. Leo will start to rise and Surge and LSTR will gain more and more credibility. The actual yield is north of 20%, plus over 40% in capital appreciation until it hits its peg. You just have to be able to be patient. Yeah, I mean, Surge is really and it actually Surge is designed after Strike, STRK, which was released by MicroStrategy. I don't remember when they released it, maybe earlier in 2025 or 2024 or something like that. So Surge is actually a sort of a sort of like, I don't know if you'd call it a clone because there's a few differences, but very like basically a token of Strike, applicable to the LSTR and Leo Strategy fund as opposed to MicroStrategy. So it basically acts like a convertible bond. So Dagger's absolutely right. If you believe in the Leo strategy economy that's being built, Surge is kind of a no brainer. It's basically like buying a bond that has 20% yield and then 40% appreciation to the peg. Um, and and the bond is convertible, which means that in the future you can convert it into LSTR shares. Uh, so it really is like this bond that you can buy now, and you can just sit back and collect the 20% yield, and then eventually one day either sell it or convert out in order to close the position at a massive, like you said, 40% plus profit. So yeah, I think Surge is a pretty screaming buy. I just think if you actually look at what happened in the crypto market, Surge, in my opinion, and you could tell me if you don't agree, but if Surge was launched today, it would be trading at its peg, or let's say in a better way, if Surge was launched in the current market environment where Bitcoin's 90K and and Bitcoin's obviously up a lot today, but like just say Bitcoin is 90K and Hive is 10 cents, Surge would be trading at over $1 right now, in my opinion. If you look at the price of Surge, it's actually down almost equivalent with the rest of the crypto market. And a large reason for that is because it's paired with crypto. So it loosely is kind of pulled down by crypto, which means it can also be pulled up by crypto. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to look at how it's down kind of like 30 to 40% from the peg. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's down like 30%, and then Hive is down, I don't even know, like 100%. So I think when Surge launched, Hive was like 20 cents and Bitcoin was 120K. Back in, I don't remember what month that was, September or something. So yeah, it's with Surge, I think it's just kind of a matter of time until it reaches the peg again. And I think the crypto market, it was just launched at pretty much the worst moment. If you actually look at the day Surge went live and I actually did this the other day. If you look at the day Surge went live on the Bitcoin chart, it is literally the peak for Bitcoin. And obviously Surge doesn't track Bitcoin, but like I said, it's paired to crypto asset pools. So, in liquidity pools, when one asset goes down in USD, it kind of drags the other down. So realistically, like Surge would be trading at the peg, in my opinion, if it wasn't for the rest of the crypto market kind of exploding right after it went live. And we're seeing this kind of play out with the other assets. So like, tokenized gold and tokenized Tesla, launched after Surge. Tokenized Tesla was kind of like, I think Bitcoin was like 100 something thousand, so it was like kind of on the way down. And tokenized Tesla's within like 8% of the peg, and then tokenized gold is trading literally right at peg. And I think that's a combination of like the crypto market obviously already tanked; it's not tanking more, and then you've also got the better pre-sale mechanics that they kind of sorted out with the staking and whatnot. So yeah, I do think that Surge would be trading at peg if it wasn't for the rest of the crypto market. And if you've got the patience to basically buy a convertible bond and just sit back and collect the wait to convert out one day, you're kind of sitting pretty. And I have been seeing a lot of people quietly accumulating Surge, and I've also been kind of quietly accumulating Surge on base. So it is, and then that yield rolls in every week, so that feels nice. Monkmaster said, "Shh, I need more time to get surge cheaply." Yeah, I mean it's fun to dollar cost average into something that is worth 40% more than what you're paying for it right now. It's literally just a matter of time. So if you've got any capital that you feel like you don't need anytime soon, I mean, you just throw it in surge. It's like a savings account or like a CD, and then you can just wait, and then eventually it'll pay off. Mitch, are you? I saw Killian Burns said,
I think I lost audio.
I can't hear Mitch. Oh wait, Mitch is out. I think you're out of the X space.
Oh well.
All right, X space is killed for Mitch.
I gotta go anyway.
All right, Mitch is jumping out. I will answer a few questions and then jump off too. Thanks, Mitch. All right, now you're just stuck with me. I will answer because I had a few more questions pulled up. I'll just answer them really quick, and then we can call it a day here. But Tokenized NVIDIA is live, and it's doing really well. Obviously, in like the private part of the pre-sale, I had the Threadcast open somewhere. Uh-oh. I lost my own Threadcast. All right, well, I'm just going to go off the live stream one. Senor Coconut said he's got to go, but he's all in on Surge. Nice. Morty's talking about the CARF thing. Yeah, I guess we'll see how the EU deals with that first. Dagger212 said that's why RWAs are not really gambling. You have to understand and believe in the overall Leo strategy concept. But once you do, these are just like buying the real thing, only they pay you a crazy good dividend. It's a beautiful thing. I agree. I think it is like a really beautiful ecosystem that's being built. And obviously it takes a little bit of trust, and you got to trust kind of what's being built. As the saying goes, trust but verify. So you obviously, it takes a little bit of trust to believe in the model, but then you can also verify everything on chain, which I think is kind of a unique aspect of crypto and the way these things are being built, which is fully on chain and transparent. And I'm very happy with the way that Leo Strategy is building these, where it's very obvious what they're doing and they make everything extremely transparent. So literally down to when they buy Leo, it gets immediately posted on Threads on chain. So it's like, with the transaction ID. So there is no spoofing of anything. I mean, it's literally all transparently posted in real time. That's for the Leo buying part. And then obviously you can check their wallets just to see how much total Leo they've got and just verify the total amount that gets posted every day. Because every day around I think it's 4 p.m. Eastern or so, the LSTR alerts account actually posts an update on the whole balance sheet. So you can literally just look at that, and then you can combine it by looking, and verifying on chain that amount of Leo is actually held by Leo Strategy. So it's literally all transparent. And the entire way it's being built is completely transparent. So whether it's the buying of Leo or the total Leo held, those things are transparent. And then when you look at the RWAs, the correlation in the pegs and the yield is posted every single hour on Threads. So if you go to InLeo Threads, literally every hour you see tokenized Tesla.yield, which is obviously the tokenized Tesla manager, and then you see TGLD.yield, which is the tokenized gold manager. They post every single hour with the price of GLD or Tesla, and then the price of tokenized gold or tokenized Tesla, and then that gives you the correlation in real time, and then it also shows you the 3-day moving average of that correlation. And the 3-day moving average is obviously what then dictates the peg policy, which is set every week. So every Monday at midnight Eastern, actually, I think technically it's every Sunday at midnight Eastern, the yield policy for the next 7 days gets set, but it's all based on the 3-day moving average, which is transparently posted. So again, it's all on chain, all very transparent. This is the way that Leo operates in general. Is the last presentation I did, at a conference. Literally, the main part of my presentation was Leo is all about putting everything on chain. So Leo is on chain. That is the entire premise of everything built in the Leo ecosystem, and Leo Strategy kind of embodies that in a kind of a financial sense. They're building all these different products and they're putting them all on chain and making them super transparent. So it's obviously amazing to see that something else is being built that is built with the same thesis in mind. Monkmaster said, when sLEO staking goes back live soon. I hope soon too. I think this week is when we plan to do it. So we've been kind of tracking everything, making sure everything's going smoothly, and then waiting for people to migrate from the old contract. Just because you want it to be as fair as possible. Like you don't want, and obviously this was kind of like a shitty situation, but we're trying to make the best of it. Where we needed to redeploy a new contract. Obviously, nothing was lost, but we needed to deploy a new contract and then have people migrate to it, which is more just kind of a pain in the ass for everybody. So I understand and I appreciate everybody being patient with that. So just a little bit more patience, and then let as many people migrate as possible, and then we'll start the rewards. I would say probably by the end of this week, I think the rewards will start again. And then anyone that hasn't migrated, hopefully they migrate as soon as they realize they're not earning anything. So I just didn't want people getting left behind because of really a mistake by our team. I didn't want anyone getting left behind and feeling like they're missing out on rewards, because once rewards start, there's really no going back. Like once rewards start, people are actually then they're missing out on USDC if they haven't migrated yet. So that's I hope people understand the logic of why we're waiting as long as possible, because technically if you migrate early, like you're not losing anything, and if you wait for us to turn rewards on, you're also not losing anything because the rewards just pool up. But if you haven't migrated yet and then we turn it back on, then you are actually losing something. So I know you're not saying it in a bad way, Monk Masters, but I do understand, and I know that there's two sides to it, right? Like it is slightly kind of a competitive thing. So if you're earning rewards, it means that if less people are earning rewards, you're earning more. So I do know that there's kind of a competitive aspect to it. Not saying that's what you're saying, but it is. We're just doing the best we can, and they will start again soon, and all the rewards have been pooling up anyways. So really nobody's missing out on anything until the rewards actually start. Then anybody who hasn't migrated is missing out. So trying to give people a fair shot at migrating as quickly as possible. Where are we at? I think I saw a few more questions that I wanted to answer. Surge is screaming by. We covered that. M Coins, I like how they did the founders pre-sale so we didn't have to worry about swapping. I think I covered that, but yeah, I agree on that. I think I covered all of these. Dagger got your TNVDA and staked it. Nice. Monkmaster is also staked. M Coin staked. I think that covers us. If you guys have any final questions, feel free to drop them in. We are 10 minutes over, so I will leave you guys with a few things, a few quick updates. So obviously, Tokenized NVIDIA went live today. It's going to be live on LeoDex probably as soon as I jump off this. I haven't gotten a message from the team yet, but I'm sure very shortly after I jump off, it'll be live on LeoDex. It's already live on Hive Engine, so anybody can go and buy the public pre-sale of Tokenized NVIDIA from Leo Strategy. So feel free to go there and do that. In terms of Leo updates in general, the team's been focused on LeoKit. So we've been building this kind of B2B SaaS product, and we're extremely excited about it. We think it'll be probably one of the biggest forms of inflows for the Leo economy. So 100% of the revenue generated from that goes to the sLEO contract, just like LeoDex affiliate revenue itself. So we think it'll probably be one of the biggest inflows to the Leo economy as it kind of shapes up and people start to integrate it. It is essentially a fully modular API kit where if you want to have cross-chain swaps on any app, you'll be able to integrate it in like this very simple API. And then there's a dashboard for it on LeoDex. So it's like super easy to manage, super easy to deploy, and it requires no maintenance. And honestly, someone who's not even a developer could integrate it. So that's kind of like our like KPI for it while we're developing is like, can someone walk off the street who is not a developer just take this API and integrate it and be able to allow cross-chain swaps on their app, wallet, interface, etc., without developer knowledge. And that's kind of what we're building it in mind. What we've got in mind while we build it. So it's fascinating. I mean, we're getting pretty close. So at this point, we've got probably like 70% of it done. So obviously, the final parts of things are where things get tough. But I think we are gonna be able to deliver it before the end of the year, which is the goal. So before the holidays start, I think we'll have it live. I'm pushing the team very hard to get it done. So we've got that, and then outside of LeoKit development, we've been very focused on refining LeoDex. So finding any bugs, fixing them right when we see them, and then overall, I think LeoDex is actually in this very solid technology standpoint. Not that we're not innovating, but with the devs generally focused on LeoKit, we've got some devs that are focused on bug fixing for LeoDex. And while we're doing those, what I'm focused on is marketing LeoDex and getting more users, because I do think our technology is in a point where we're actually better than the other cross-chain interfaces that are out there. From a technology standpoint, I think we're still the only interface for Thorchain that's integrated memoless swaps and also integrated perps for Thorchain. So, on the Thorchain side of things, we're definitely like way ahead in terms of technology. And then for near intents, for example, we just came out with monad support. So, we're one of the few that have that supported. We also added monad support for relay, which we haven't announced yet, but I think the announcement will go out soon, sometime this week for that. So I think we're actually ahead of the curve in a lot of ways when it comes to technology, which tends to be a Leo thing. Now the hard part is getting people to use it. So that is I'm more of a technology person, and you guys obviously, if you've been following Leo for a while, and actually in July it'll mark 7 years since Leo started. You guys know that I'm like a technology person. I focus on the dev, development and technology part of things. One thing I've been trying to learn and be better about is marketing and genuinely like, how do we grow the user base and the volume of LeoDex, which is a new thing for me. So when it comes to marketing and just generally like B2B and B2C, that is a newer thing for me, as opposed to just focusing on designing the technology. I would say my role at Leo, and I've talked about this before, is kind of like chief designer. Really, I'm like designing the new features. I'm helping the team find bugs, managing the team's roadmap, making sure we're delivering things, and that's really my role at Leo. But now it's expanding to we need to get more people swapping on LeoDex, and then obviously with LeoKit on the way as well. That's all B2B. So my role is kind of expanding to be able to deliver on those things, and it's a new thing for me. So it's something I'm actively trying to learn and be better at. So you're seeing me take on something that I haven't really done much of in the past, which is trying to get customers to the apps, which is customers to LeoDex and customers to LeoKit. But overall, it's a fun challenge, and the technology standpoint of things is chugging along very well. So it kind of frees me up to focus on, now that the technology is in a good state, getting people to actually use these things. So whether you want to trade, Bitcoin to ETH, or ETH to USDC, or Zcash, LeoDex has thousands of assets now, and we support 6 different protocols and literally like 500 plus wallets. So LeoDex has it all. We're building the everything Dex, and if you want to trade anything cross chain, go to LeoDex and use it. And if you find anything that you want to do a bug report or feature request, open a ticket on Discord, tag me on InLeo threads, tag me on X, and we'll get things done. And really, one thing I've always gotten frustrated with in the past is when you use an app or anything really, and you report it to the team. If the team doesn't do anything and they don't reply and they don't care to even fix it, that's a problem, and that's something that I've always hated. So with Leo and LeoDex, we're always trying to be better about that. So for example, yesterday someone reported a bug to me over Discord, and it was just like a minor display issue. Like essentially, a token for Thorchain was showing as something else with a different name. And they reported that, and literally within like 45 minutes, we had the fix. We had it fixed in beta. We tested it, and then we deployed it to production. And then I messaged that person back, and I said, "Hey, we fixed it." I think people get surprised by not only how fast we fix things, but that we're actually responsive and care when people say stuff like that. So I hope you know that I care about these things, and I genuinely just want to build the best products that the Leo team is capable of building, and that is 100% the ambition. So keep reporting stuff, and we'll keep making it better. And LeoDex is really getting to a nice place. So keep swapping on it, and if you see anything, feel free to do a feature request or a bug report, and I'll make sure that it gets handled as soon as possible. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Mitch, who had to jump off. And we'll see you guys maybe Friday for a Lions Den. I'll ping Taskmaster and see if we can do a Lions Den this Friday, because I think there's a lot of cool stuff to talk about with. And I didn't even get into like Rafiki updates, so you'll have to see my Rafiki updates on Threads. But we've pushed a lot of updates to Rafiki as well, which is our LeoAI platform. So a lot of updates for Rafiki are already rolled out, and there's more on the way. So keep your eyes open for that, and keep using Rafiki on Threads. You'll notice that his answers are getting a lot better with every single interaction. So overall, a lot happening in the